Hello and welcome to the practical walkthrough. We are now going to implement our RAD project. We are going to implement the new design of a reverse connection RAD system. So in this walkthrough, we are going to create the server. So let's get started. First, go and download this file from the resource section. Then open Visual Studio, create a new project, and then select C# Windows Desktop, and the project type is Windows Forms apt.NET Framework. Click on the next button. For the name, let's call it 07-reverse connection RAD server. Remember that we have to build two different projects, the server project as well as the client project, which is a hybrid client which has a listening port. We will do that in a later lesson. For now, we are doing the server part. And then click on the create button. Make sure your project folder is RAD projects. Next, we are going to set the opacity of the form to 0. So click on the form and then come to the properties here, and under opacity set it to 0 and hit enter. Then we'll insert a form shown event handler. Click on the lightning icon here. Scroll down to shown, select it and double click. Then from this file, we are going to copy everything here. So first we delete the imported libraries. Then we copy all our new libraries and paste it in here. Next, we delete the form1 class itself. Select everything from here to here and hit delete. And from the file, we copy the form1 class up to here and then paste it in the code. Then we click on the save button. I'm now going to explain the new parts. So we have, like in the previous lesson where we studied about port binding shells, we have this system diagnostics, nothing new. And then this part is something new. This is the part where you are going to connect to the client every 5 seconds. So it will sleep 5 seconds and then try again. So we have a perpetual loop, a for perpetual loop. So the run server will be attempted every 5 seconds. So inside the run server, before that, let me remind you why we want to do that. The reason why every 5 seconds we want to attempt connection is because the RAD is a hidden file, it's invisible. So nobody is there to click on it to initiate the connection. So the server RAD itself has to try it every 5 seconds. So that's why we put a loop. This is the loop here, perpetual loop. Now let's look at the run server. Run server, we have something new here. So in the server part, we don't have this previously, but now we need to create a TCP client because the server has to initiate the connection. So then you will test whether or not the client has been connected. If the client is not yet connected, you will enter here the block, this block, and try to connect. So for this example, we are using port 6666 at localhost. So if you are going to deploy this on the real internet, your client address will be here rather than this address. So your client needs to have a static IP so that you can connect to it. If it's a dynamic IP, then you will not be able to connect because the server needs to be known in advance what is the IP address it needs to connect to. So this is how you connect to it, and then once you are connected, you get the stream from the connection and save it to this network stream, and the rest is the same. You can use stream writer. You create stream reader for reading incoming data from the client, and you use stream writer to send data back to the client. And if there's any error in trying to connect, for example, if you fail to connect for whatever reason, then you will have a catch block which will be triggered, and then it will just quit the run server program using return, and you don't want to continue with the rest. So this method ensures that your server doesn't crash because you put everything in the try block. So if there's any error, the catch block will just catch the error and just ignore it by returning. That means by quitting the loop. Return here means to exit out of this function. Assuming that it has successfully connected to the client, then it will proceed to line 57 and it will create a new process out of the command.exe. So this new process is the command.exe, and here we redirect all the standard inputs and standard outputs as we have done before, and we also assign a command output handler just like in the previous lessons. And then here we start the process itself, and here is the message loop. So the message loop is also no different from the previous lessons. It is meant to process incoming data and also to send out data. So the incoming data, if it's terminate, then it will stop the server. That means it will stop the connection. So the cleanup code is the same, the rest is no different. So we are having exactly the same server as before. The only thing new is that the server is the one which initiates the connection here. And we have to declare the TCP client here. And the other new thing is that we put a for loop, sleep every 5 seconds, and we try to connect if the client is not existing. So we try every 5 seconds. So let's now build this. Click on build and then select build solution. So now build has started, as you can see from the bottom left corner, and now you can see build has succeeded. However, we are not able to test it yet because we don't have a client. So the client will need to be running up and running and listening on the port before the server can connect. So the next project will be to build the client part. After that, then only we can test the server. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.